If you want to be disciplined, but you've always labeled yourself as I'm just not that type, I'm not that A type, I'm not organized, or if you want to be disciplined and the thought of a routine or habits just make you cringe and make you be like, you know what, I'm a free-flowing person, don't cramp my style. Or if you want to be disciplined and you just have failed so many times in the past, you just struggle with even the thought of discipline, then this is the video for you. And I'm making this video because my past self and even somewhat of my present self struggles with discipline. It's something that I feel a lot of us, we don't really give into discipline unless it's a moment where we are faced with, okay, if something doesn't change, then I'm gonna be stuck this way forever. And I experienced that when I was in my last year of university. I was seeing somebody at the time for basically all of university, and that person had flown to the other side of the world to become a doctor to go to school for, and everything seemed to crumble before my eyes. I guess I had based my identity on this person, and when they moved, it was like, okay, who am I? Like, I don't have any friends, I don't have anything to like really look forward to. I believe that person started like hanging out with another woman, and I was just like, So I was really in that point where it was like, okay, something has to change in me in order for me to be who I want to be, in order for me to reach my potential. And I kind of came to this moment of enough is enough. I don't want to be living a way where I am struggling all the time. At that time, I was barely even making it, living paycheck to paycheck. I was really struggling. There were days where I wouldn't be able to eat. Well, mentally, there were some days where I wasn't able to eat because I was just so depressed. And then there were also other days where I wasn't able to eat because I didn't have the money to eat. I didn't even have the money to take the bus to work. So I laugh about it now in hindsight, but when I think about that moment of when I decided to change my life, it was when I decided to take hold of discipline. It's when I decided to do whatever it takes to be consistent, to get to my goals, even though I didn't have a clear path written out. Now, I know a lot of you watching my channel have heard me talking about making goals or setting goals or just doing, and I've seen in your comments saying, Joe, but like, what if I don't know what my purpose is? What if I don't know what the end goal is? Sometimes it just takes a little bit of discipline in some areas of your life in order for that to be revealed to you. Sometimes you have to just pull back on being so scatterbrained and really focus in on one or two things that are gonna further you, that's going to put you in a place where you are feeling more confident to do the things that will bring you to your goal, to your vision. Discipline is what got me where I am today. Today, I have over 12 million followers across social media channels. I have a beautiful family. I have a husband. I live in a different country now. I have been basically living the dream, the vision that God put on my heart so many years ago. I remember writing down when I was in university saying, this was 10, 11 years ago, saying, I want to be a household name. Now I'll walk down the street and people will be like, oh my God, you're Grow with Joe. I do your workouts in my home, in my household. My family does it with you. So all these things came to reality by me choosing to be disciplined and me coming to that point where I basically was like, enough is enough. Okay, this is a really interesting story because I never really understood what was happening when it happened, but I distinctly remember, and I will remember this probably for the rest of my life, I was in such a bad state. I was a personal trainer at the time. This was going back to that time when my boyfriend at the time, he had left to go to medical school. I was so depressed that I had lost, I think it was like 15 pounds in a matter of weeks. I was so skinny, I wouldn't eat, I was so stressed out. The only thing I would do was work and work out. Working out was the only time that I was able to not think about what was going on in my life. And I would work, and then on my lunch break, I would work out, and I would work out like, I would lift heavy weights. And I remember me before this time, trying to reach a PR, personal record, on my deadlift. And this specific day, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Even though I was malnourished, I was stressed out, I was depressed, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. And I remember me completing the PR. I believe it was over 300 pounds. It was like 3 plates. I don't even remember. I don't even know the math on barbells anymore because I haven't been to the gym in over 6 years. But it was three plates and a 10, I think, on each side of the bar. And I can remember pulling it, doing that deadlift, finishing that deadlift, dropping it, and then laying on the ground, like shaking, being like in shock. My body was in shock because that was a lot of weight. I think it was maybe like 115 pounds soaking wet at that time. So I was very strong, but I shouldn't have done that. I could have really hurt myself. But I remember having that moment. And then after that, I had this weird high. I had this weird sensation that was like a moment of clarity. I don't know what it was. I think it was, now that looking back on it, I think it was God. I think it was the Holy Spirit. But I had this moment, and it wasn't just one moment. It was a couple hours of just total clarity. And I remember after that walking to McDonald's, I didn't have a car, walking to McDonald's in the snow. I sat down in a McDonald's cafeteria and was thinking to myself, something has to change. And I had a notepad with me and I was writing out, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to reach my goals. I'm going to make a plan and make it happen. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I remember in those few hours really coming to the realization that everything is going to stay the same if I don't change something. And if you're watching this video, maybe that's what you're thinking. Everything is going to stay the same unless I change something. And I want you to take this thought seriously. I want you to take this thought as a sign that something does need to change. There were days, there were months, there were years. I don't know. I'm looking back on that. Memory is bringing emotions back to me, maybe because I'm pregnant. But there were days, there were months, there were years where I struggled with discipline, and I was like, you know what, it's not me. I don't know if it's something that I bucked up against, because when I was a child, my parents tried to teach me discipline. It was something I kind of resented. I was like, I don't want to do my chores. I don't want to. My family had a family band. We would play music after dinner every night, and I sometimes was just like, I'm not in the mood to pull out my trumpet or sing. And my parents taught us discipline by doing that. And so when I left home at 16 years old, I kind of tried to do the complete opposite thing. So for a very long time, I struggled with discipline. And even to this day, there are many things where I'm still like, how can I not keep this habit up? How can I not make this a habit? Why am I struggling so hard with discipline? And one thing that I really struggled with, and still do sometimes struggle with, is that overwhelm of wanting to do so many things and wanting to stay disciplined in so many things at once. And I'm here to tell you today that it's not about doing so many things at once. Discipline doesn't mean that you all of a sudden become a type A person. It's funny because I used to wish I could be a type A person. I used to wish that I was very organized, very ABC, very black and white. I used to wish that. And then this past week, I looked up the definition of A-type, and I asked my husband, I was like, well, do you think I'm A-type? Let me look it up right now. Definition of A-type. Because I remember wanting to be A-type. And then now that I read these, I'm like, I'm actually kind of like that type A personality. I keep saying A-type, but type A personality. Outgoing, ambitious, rigidly organized, high status conscious, impatient, anxious, proactive, and concerned with time management. So a lot of those, aside from impatient and anxious, I can be impatient sometimes, definitely characterize me now, but they weren't what characterized me before. It's not about trying to be A-type all in a day. It's not about even trying to be A-type in a year, 5 years. It's about working on a couple things that is going to amplify your ability to stay disciplined. And discipline looks different for everyone. I really want to stress that, because there are some days, there are some weeks where I'm like, I am not disciplined. And then there's other days and other weeks where I'm like, wow, I'm really on top of it. I'm really on it. And it's not always like this. There's waves of being disciplined and waves of you taking natural breaks. So one thing that I do want to stress is that without discipline, there is no life at all. Discipline is doing what you really don't want to do. You really don't want to do it so that you can do what you really want to do. So discipline is the only thing that is going to take you from where you are right now to where your vision, your dream, the reality that you want so badly for yourself. And maybe you can't picture that, like I said before, but you will be there when you start getting disciplined. Now, I'm about to go grocery shopping, and so we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But one thing that I want you to do is to give yourself the benefit of the doubt during our time together today. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you would give a best friend, being like, I know you can do it. I believe in you. And I want you to do that for yourself today. I'm going to be giving you tips on how you can trick yourself into being disciplined. And these are firsthand tips that I used in order for me to become disciplined, things that I used to kind of reverse my psychology. So if there's been a time where you've heard somebody say something and it just stuck with you, and you just like every time you think of that one thing, that person saying that thing comes back into your head, this is going to be one of those moments. This is going to be one of those videos that you will continue to remember as you keep coming back to, oh, I don't want to do this. You're going to remember my voice in your head telling you what you need to do to trick yourself into being disciplined. First, I want to share with you some positive ways in which you can change the way you think about discipline, because sometimes you just need a little positivity in your life. And then other times you just need some ways in which you can basically avoid the idea of not being disciplined. I'll explain that later. I love getting myself flowers. Larry gets me flowers, but I like getting myself like bouquets and making myself bouquets from the grocery store. It's fun. It's a little activity, self-care activity that I like to do every week. And sometimes when I don't have enough time, I'll just order some flowers from a boutique or something like that. But yeah, so the first way in which you can change that discipline narrative in your mind and thinking about it as something that is challenging for you to do is by lowering the barrier, lowering that barrier to entry, lowering that idea that, you know, you have to be doing it all. And sometimes it just takes like habit stacking. Now, if you haven't heard of habit stacking, one way you can do that is, for example, if you want to learn more about a certain topic, or if you want to become an expert on a certain topic, one thing you can do is do it with something that you're already doing. So for example, you always brush your teeth every day. So maybe while you're brushing your teeth, you turn on a podcast or you turn on a YouTube video that has something to do with that topic. For example, maybe you're thinking of it, oh, if I want to get disciplined, I'm going to have to take a whole course. I'm going to have to push myself in order to actually get meaningful results. But the meaningful results happen when you're actually incorporating it into your lifestyle, incorporating it into your day. Now, maybe you want to get disciplined in fitness. In that way, you could maybe put out your clothes the night before, or you can make it easier by preparing smoothie ingredients for you to have after your workout. When you lower that barrier of entry into what you want for yourself, it makes it so much easier to show up and be disciplined. Maybe you want to eat better. Lowering the barrier, an example of lowering the barrier would be getting your vegetables and chopping them up before the week begins so that you have those vegetables, you have those protein sources, maybe prepping protein sources already readily available to you, so that you know that it's there and it's easy for you to reach and grab for them. Maybe it's canceling your Uber Eats. Maybe it's canceling something that is hindering you. Maybe it's your Netflix subscription. Maybe that's hindering you from learning, from applying yourself. Lower that barrier of entry. That is gonna make a huge difference. And psychologically, you're gonna be like, you know what, it's easier for me to do, so I'd be a fool not to. Just thinking about what I need today, I'm gonna get some apples, and I love getting lots of fresh fruit. Now, another thing that I want you guys to do when you are trying to get disciplined is start talking about yourself in a way that shows that you're disciplined. A lot of us, we say, oh, I can never stick to a habit, or I could never do a challenge. And we say these things about ourselves, not even realizing that our words have so much power. If you continually say that you're not a disciplined person, that you struggle with it, you're gonna keep struggling with it. This is a reality. This is something that's very real that a lot of us often neglect. The fact that our words basically determine your reality. The Bible says that in your words, the tongue holds the power of life and death. So give yourself life with your words. Tell yourself, instead of saying, oh, I'm not disciplined, or I struggle with consistency, say, I'm working on the person that I need to be so that I can be disciplined and reach my goals. I've been looking for some Galentine's gifts for my girls because I'm doing a little Galentine's dinner. These are so cute. I love them. I'm gonna get some of them, 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for good measure. So cute. Now, another thing that I say all the time, I say this literally all the time when I'm talking about fitness, is using the 5-minute rule. Whoa, this is cool. Strawberry shortcake popcorn. I'm gonna try it. The other day I saw like champagne chips here. potato chips that were champagne flavored. I gifted them to somebody, but I kind of wanted to try them. Julie, if you're watching this, I hope you have some more. Or maybe I'll find them again. I always say this when I'm talking about fitness, but I think it's also very important in any other thing that you're trying to do for yourself. If you are trying to become disciplined and you find that it's just so hard for you to start, it's so hard for you to get over that barrier of like, will I even be able to keep this habit up? Start with 5 minutes or even 2 minutes. That is gonna make a huge difference because you know you can do 5 minutes. You know that you can do 2 minutes. It's not gonna be a problem for you. So just telling yourself, I'm only gonna do 2 minutes. I'm only gonna do 5 minutes. I'm only gonna do 2 minutes of learning. I'm only gonna do 5 minutes of this workout. I'm only gonna do a little bit. This is again, lowering that barrier to entry. This is what I do throughout all of my fitness videos, basically making it so easy for you to move that it almost is like, well, not almost, it is enjoyable. It's so fun. So if you can kind of distill your process down to the idea that, hey, I can do this for 2 minutes. And if I have the energy to do more, if I have the ambition, if I have the gumption to do more, then I'll do more. I'll allow myself to do more, but I'm limiting myself to only having to do 2 minutes today. That will start you going. That will make you keep going. It will allow you to see that you can actually do it and that you don't have to do much in order for it to make a difference. My son loves bacon, like turkey bacon. He hasn't had regular pork bacon ever, I don't think. I didn't grow up eating bacon. My dad, I guess he got mouth ulcers from having pork. And so we never had pork in our diet growing up. And Larry also didn't either, my husband. So we stick to the turkey, chicken, that stuff. We actually used to be vegetarian for quite a while. When I met Larry, he was like strictly vegetarian. And I was like, you know what? Hey, let me be it too. I was vegan for a time before that for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And then I stopped being vegan. But when I met Larry, he was like, oh yeah, I'm vegetarian. And I think that was because of his sister's influence. And so I became vegetarian for a while. But then when we had our son, he was eating vegetarian, but we found it was challenging for us to get him on enough protein. We were kind of worried about that because he really struggled with textures when he was really young, struggled with, eating certain things. So we were like, you know what, let's add some chicken back into his diet. And we slowly added more and more. It made a huge difference in just my peace of mind and knowing that he was getting enough, what he needed. So we haven't been vegetarian for quite a while. For my coffee, I like to have almond milk or coconut milk. I don't really like either, so I really haven't been having coffee that often lately. I've also been trying pistachio milk, which is okay, but I've heard that oat isn't really good for you because of the seed oils, as well as oat is basically you're giving yourself pure starch juice, which can really spike your blood sugar. So I'm not about that. So I've been getting pistachio. I've actually been craving mochas lately. I don't know if it's pregnancy. I remember in the end of my first pregnancy, I was craving hot chocolate. So I'm gonna try some chocolate milk because I still have some of the other milk at home. So where was I? I was saying that you should do 2 minutes, do 5 minutes, do very little, and that will make you realize how very much capable you are and how you can basically do anything. You can do anything for 2 minutes, you can do anything for 5 minutes, and then if you make that a habit, girl, you're unstoppable. Whenever I share a transformation post on my socials, there's always one person or maybe 2 people even that say something like, oh, there's no way she did this just with working out at home. She definitely had to use machines. She definitely had to use weights. And I understand, like, if you have never been in the habit of being disciplined with your workouts, you will never know, and you'll always look at people that say that they've done kind of the bare minimum or very little, or like something that seems so easy, and you'll be like, there's no way they could get results like that by doing that. But it still annoys me. I like getting sometimes like already prepared, like half prepared meals. You just have to cook it. So I'm gonna get this Thai coconut chicken rice bowl. Maybe I'll get the Parmesan chicken with pasta. That one looks pretty good. So the reason it irks me is because when people say stuff like that, it makes me realize that they probably have never been consistent like that ever in their life. And that's why they don't believe in the power of doing something small for a long period of time and it giving you great results. So don't be that person. Don't be that person that's like, oh, there's no way you could have reached that goal by doing just so little. It was little, but it was like everyday little. I achieved crazy, amazing results by doing a little bit every single day. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen where you just think that you can do a little bit for a week or 2 weeks or even a month and like you think that everything's gonna change. That's not gonna happen. But if you do a little bit every day for a year, you'd be surprised where you are a year from now. Just imagine where you could be. I'm actually always very, very, very gracious as much as I can to people online because I know that they're either, if they're being nasty, they're either going through something or they just don't understand it in the same way that I do. They don't have the same experience as me. Nobody has the same experience as me. Nobody has the same experience as you. So you can't expect them to understand you or to believe you just because you say so. Yeah, that bugs me. But just knowing that if you do something small for a long period of time, you will see drastic changes and people will doubt you. People will be like, girl, what? But you can be like, I did something small for a long time and then it turned out to this. Look at me now. Okay, so another positive thing that you can do for yourself in order to put in discipline into your life is basically removing your option to quit. That can come in, look at these cookies. Oh my God, look how big they are. This is my hand. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, remove that option to quit. Maybe if you're starting a fitness routine, one thing that I have set up for my community is they can commit to a year of working out with me, a year of having a schedule created for you, a year of showing up every single day or as many days as you can, and you've already paid for the year. So you kind of remove that option to be like, I don't really want to do this. If you're following YouTube videos, if you're following like just the YouTube videos that I post every week, that's totally great and you can totally achieve great results doing them. But for some people who struggle with that consistency, who struggle with that discipline, not having that option to quit makes a huge difference. And maybe that's the difference between what you're doing right now and how you can achieve that discipline. Because if you don't have an option to quit, it makes it so much harder for you to just be like, I'm done with this. So maybe that's like paying for a year up front. Maybe that's telling a friend like, hey, I really, really, really want to be able to read one book a week about this specific topic. I want to learn more about it. I want to push myself. Or you're trying to get better in social media. Maybe you say to yourself, I really want to post, or you say to your friend, I want to post at least twice a week, every week this month. Removing that option for you because they're going to see it. They're going to look at it and they're going to look at your profile and be like, hey, you didn't post twice a week if you ask them to keep you accountable. So that is a way of removing that option to quit. Or maybe if you are struggling with eating out all the time, delete the DoorDash, delete those food ads, delete those things that make eating out convenient. I know that's a harsh one. Remove that option to quit. Now, my final positive one is, and we're gonna go into the negatives because a lot of us actually psychologically were wired to avoid a negative outcome over searching a positive outcome. So these ones are great, but the rest is gonna be better. I want you to reward progress, not perfection. Now, I know a lot of us who struggle with discipline, we want everything to be perfect. We want everything situated exactly how we want it to be in order for us to feel accomplished and for us to move on. But I want you to start thinking about the progress that you're making as a win. Track your efforts. Track not, oh, I want to post 2 times this week and I didn't post 2 times this week and then next week getting discouraged and not continuing on. No, I wanted to post 2 times this week. I filmed 3 times this week, so I put that effort in and I didn't get to posting, but next week I'm going to post more. Next week I'm going to post maybe 3 times because I filmed all that time. Rewarding that effort, really congratulating yourself on that kind of progress makes a huge difference. Maybe you always put yourself down when it comes to you taking those right steps. Maybe you don't do it perfectly. Nobody does it perfectly. Nobody does it perfectly. Oh my God, get rid of that idea of perfect. Like I said earlier in this video, there are still weeks, there are still months. I am very disciplined. I feel like I'm a very disciplined person, but there are still things in my life that I'm not disciplined in. There are still weeks in my life where I feel like I have no discipline in the things that I've been disciplined in for years. So stop being so hard on yourself. Reward your progress, not your perfection. Now, I want you to start thinking of all the things that you want to do, all the things that you're trying to do, all the things that you're trying to get disciplined in. I want you to start thinking about these things as not I have to in order to get to my goals. Start thinking them as I get to. And if that doesn't hit you in the right way, if that doesn't get you feeling like some type of good way about it, like, oh, I get to do it. If you're just like, okay, I'm lying to myself when I say that. I mean, I know that I get to, but I also have to. Take it one step further. If you take nothing else from this video, I want you to take this. The one thing that has completely changed the way that I stay disciplined boils down to this one idea or this one notion, and it always replays back in my head every time that I decide to not do the thing that is going to keep me disciplined. And it's this: every time I miss that workout, devotion, walk, posting online, every time I miss that, I'm missing an opportunity. Think about that. Every time you skip that workout, you're missing that opportunity to feel amazing in your own skin. Every time you skip that devotion, you're missing that opportunity to grow closer to God. Every time you miss that walk, you skip that walk, you're missing that opportunity to start your day on the right note or to finish your day not feeling bloated. Every time you skip that post, you're missing an opportunity to reach somebody and bless them and make them think differently and help them in their struggle. Every time you skip doing what you know you're meant to do, you're missing that opportunity. And if that doesn't get you, I don't know what will. Because if you think about the opportunity that you have and all these things you want to get disciplined in, you think about the opportunity and how far you can go with it, missing that opportunity, that hurts. So every time you think about it, every time you're like, I don't know, I don't really want to work out, think about, oh, I'm missing this opportunity to feel amazing about myself. I'm missing this opportunity to feel great in my skin. Oh, I don't really want to post today. I don't really have the energy. You are missing that opportunity to reach somebody. Stop thinking of it as, I got shy for a minute, I don't know why. Stop thinking of it as something that is just, it's given to you. Your lack of discipline is acting like you are entitled to another day. You're entitled to more breath. You're entitled to more life. Stop acting like that. You're missing all these opportunities. Start thinking about all the things that you can do, all the opportunities that you can reach, that you can attain if you just apply yourself. And every day, if you're thinking about it in the long run, if you're thinking about it in a way that's like, oh man, like I gotta stay disciplined all the way to the end of this year, you're never gonna stay disciplined. Think about today. Think about what opportunities you will miss if you don't stay disciplined in the things that you wanna do today. Just start there, just start with today. And then tomorrow, deal with tomorrow. Think about the opportunities that you have to take hold of, to grasp. And from there, you'll start to see your life change. You'll start to see things shift in your favor. I love Diet Coke. I know, you can bash me for it, it's fine. But Diet Coke has been my jam. I haven't been drinking as much of it being pregnant, but it's a little pleasure. Note how I didn't say guilty. It's not a guilty pleasure. I don't feel guilty when I eat or drink. Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Okay, so I'm gonna finish off because I need to finish this grocery trip with some phrases that I use. These I use for when I am trying to get into a workout routine or like trying to not miss a workout, but they can be applied to anything. So the first one is, these are all negatives as well. These are all things where you're like avoiding a negative outcome because psychologically, that is actually how you're going to stick to it, adhere to it. You can say to yourself, I don't want today to be another, why didn't I just do it day? Tell yourself that. You know those days where you're like, dang, why didn't I just do it? Why didn't I just make that post? Why didn't I just work out? I had the time, I had the energy, why didn't I just do it? I don't want today to be another, why didn't I just do it day? Use that phrase. Another phrase, oh, I found the champagne chips. Excuse me, they're sparkling wine chips. Another phrase that I use is, I can keep it low key, nobody's grading me. Hey, that kind of rhymes. I can keep it low key, nobody's grading me. I can keep it low key. Nobody's looking at you, nobody's watching you. Nobody's like, oh, did you take that note? Did you do that workout 100%? Nobody's grading you. Nobody's watching you. So stop thinking about it that way. Stop being a little perfectionist. I can say that because I have been and I still am sometimes to this day. I can keep it low key. Nobody's grading me. Another one, skipping won't make me feel rested. It will just make me feel more stuck. It will make me feel blah. Skipping won't make you feel better. Skipping will make you feel worse about yourself, about your ability, about your confidence in yourself. So stop skipping. Ooh. Cantaloupe, dried cantaloupe. I love dried mango. You can't go wrong with dried mango. Okay, another one. Skipping today means double the struggle tomorrow. And tomorrow means will not be happy, will not be amused because it's gonna be even harder tomorrow. Thinking about your future self, avoiding that negative outcome of, I'm probably not gonna be able to do this tomorrow if I don't even try to do it today. So think about that. Put your mind behind that. If you just do it today, if you just do a little bit today, tomorrow's gonna feel easier because you showed up today. Tomorrow you're gonna look back on today and be like, oh, I did it yesterday. And the same goes for the opposite. The same goes for if you are not gonna do it today, you're gonna continue on a path where you're not doing it. You're just gonna keep not doing it. Then you become in a habit of skipping. Oh, I found what I was looking for. I really like these. I don't know about you. I believe these are by another YouTuber. They're called Joyride. I like their watermelon slices. I haven't tried their gummy bears yet, but we're trying them. The final one is kind of funny because I like to finish a good day of hard work and just sit back and relax and enjoy my favorite show or some YouTube or whatever. Yes, I do that. I relax. I enjoy some downtime. If I skip today, I'll have to deal with the skip guilt all night. And my favorite show is way better without that voice in my head. Oh, you skipped. Oh, you didn't do it. You're enjoying this. Now, you don't have to feel guilt when you're relaxing. That's definitely not a thing. Oh, I found these. These are so awesome. These are a must for Valentine's Day. So nostalgic. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm gonna buy the whole store if I don't leave. I should get a couple more veggies. But having that thought of like, you know what, if I don't do it, then tonight when I'm relaxing, when I'm enjoying my well-deserved rest, I'm gonna feel less deserving of it, which is not necessarily a positive thought to have because you always deserve rest. But if that helps you and urges you a little bit more to get on your stuff and to actually do it, show up and do it. Oh my goodness, I don't fit in between here. My belly's so big. Then maybe you gotta say that. Maybe you gotta use that one. Just say, hey, Joe, tell yourself, you insert your name. If you don't do this right now, later you're gonna feel like, I'm relaxing, I'm chilling, and I didn't even do what I set out to do today. So think on that. Think on all those things. Now I've given you all these ways in which you can take and apply these thoughts, because literally that's where everything starts. It starts with your thoughts, your words, how you speak about yourself, how you speak about yourself to others as well as to yourself, and then it goes into your actions. So I want you to use all of these thoughts that I've brainwashed you into thinking. I'm hoping that you've been giving yourself the benefit of the doubt all the way until now. I want you to this week think about one phrase, whether it's the one where I said was the most important one, the one where I said, you know, you're missing an opportunity, that you can repeat to yourself every time that you start to feel like I am not going to follow through on this promise that I made to myself. I want you to use that phrase. Me not doing this is missing an opportunity to, and then end result, whatever your end result you want to be. Maybe you want to be famous. Maybe you want to impact women. Maybe you want to be that person that you wish you had when you were struggling. Become that person. Stop being so complacent. Stop thinking that the next day, the next hour, the next breath that you have is inevitable. It's a gift. It's something that you may or may not have. So start living every day with intention. Start being disciplined. The only way that you are going to reach your goals, that you are going to live a meaningful life, is if you start to be disciplined. And if you listen to this now, you come back to it later and you say to yourself, wow, I wish I listened to Joe earlier. Girl, listen to me now. Let's cut the, oh, I'm gonna wait till a better time to do it. Listen to me now, okay? So now I want you to say with me, I am disciplined, I can reach my goals, and I'm not gonna stop. I need to change, and change starts today, right now. Not on Monday, not next week, not tonight. It starts right now. What can you do right now that is gonna help you achieve that start to your discipline? And I want to remind you that this is not something that you can think about later and be where you want to be and feel great about where you are. This is not something that you can fumble the bag on. This is not something that you can just be like, yeah, and move on. Yes, you can, but you're gonna be stuck. The next time you hear this talk from somebody else, maybe it's not gonna be me, you are gonna be stuck in the same place that you are right now if you don't make change right now. Let me know down in the comments what you're going to change. And also let me know, because since you're here and watched the entire video and stuck stuck through it with me. Let me know what else you want me to share, what else you want me to talk on, what else you are interested in hearing from me about, because I want to be here for you. I want to be your sis. I want to be your helper. I want to be somebody that is cheering you on, and I am somebody who's cheering you on. I want to give you what I have learned and what has put me in a place where I can help you. I want you to be that person for somebody else. So let me know in the comments, say, hey Joe, please, I need you to talk on this, and I will for sure talk on it. Love you, okay? Bye.